Good morning. Namaste. Happy full moon to you all, actually. It's a beautiful full moon this evening, so maybe nice to tune in with that. We're going to just start simply seated. So whatever comfortable posture works for you. Hands can just sit in your lap or on your thighs. Whenever the eyes are ready to shut down, just allow them to close gently. And begin to take a couple of deep breaths, breathing in through the nose. Sighing slowly out through the mouth. And simply repeat that as many times as you feel you need, so you can settle into the body. Relaxing your shoulders. Drawing out into your back body if you have a tendency to push forward. And lifting the heart, lifting the crown, particularly if you feel you tend to hang forward, round through the back. And just begin a steady awareness of your breath. We're going to do a few rounds of the shush breathing. So this is where we take an inhale, and as we exhale, we pout the lips and gently blow the breath out as if we're trying to blow at a candle without blowing it out. So just as you're ready, inhaling and gently letting the breath out through the pouted lips. Just allowing this breath to gently soothe your nervous system. Relax your muscles. And focus your awareness. It should be a nice, gentle, easy, achievable breath that at the same time grounds you back in and brings you steadily and peacefully into the moment. So just one or two more rounds. And just allowing the natural breath to return. And just observing. the natural breath, drawing in and out of the body. Becoming aware of its steady and consistent rhythm. Your breath is something you can really rely on. It's a steady constant in your life. And as we observe this steady, constant rhythm that holds us in place, begin to become aware of how each breath is unique. Really, the experience of each passing breath is unique to itself. And as you feel into the experience the body is having while being breathed, while observing the breath, even in this stillness, there's a sense of movement. The undercurrent of stillness is movement. And that in that movement, whether it is the movement of the breath, the movement of your blood flow, the movement of energy or thoughts or feelings or sensations that rise and fall, all that rise and fall. That even in this moment of relative peace and stillness is constantly changing. There is constant change. So just getting comfortable, really relaxed in this idea that even in this moment there is constant change going on. Cells are dying and being rebirthed in your body. Thoughts are arising and releasing away. Sensations come and go. Heart beats, usually rhythmically, but not always. And the breath has this little way of just changing. Deeper, shallower, longer, shorter. And allow yourself to be completely at ease. Really soak in that feeling of being at ease with this constant change going on within us. And know that whatever is going on outside of your life, outside of this inner experience, that we can just sit steady in that, like we are here now. At peace, at ease with whatever changes unfolding in your life. So today we're going to work with the idea that when we are in flux, in the flux of change, in that steady momentum of change. And it is true that a lot of times change takes a long time and we're really seeing that being played out. This is going to be a deep moment of change for humanity, and that might be playing out individually in your life with this constant steady decision making, trying to adjust, trying to find balance. So when we're in this consistent flux of change, and we're not in some heightened, overwhelming experience of it, then we can use our practice to build resilience and to build strength. So today we're working a little bit more with the idea of building strength in an achieving manner, not in a, oh, this is way too strong, this is unpleasant, I don't want to do it, but in a way that feels really achievable. And the idea is to stay nice and mindful and methodical and aware of every placement of your body, every breath, every transition from posture to posture. So that's where we're working today. So we're going to just start. I'm just going to make some changes in camera. We're just going to start as we are in a seated position. And just allow your spine to begin to flow from side to side. Just keeping that awareness with the breath and allowing perhaps an inhalation to draw you to one side and the exhalation to take you into the other direction. And just allow yourself to be like a piece of kelp caught in the tide. And being aware of the movement up the spine and where your sticky points are. And then allowing that beautiful flow to transition into a circular action, bringing the heart forward and across, and then drawing it back and across. So from left to right, say, as we come forward, and from right to left as we pull back. One hand on each knee to support you as you move with as much depth as you like, but you want to feel it through your spine, through your hips, through your shoulders, and allow the head to simply rotate in a natural manner at the top. And then we can change directions just whenever you feel the pull. My internet is unsteady today, so I don't really see anybody moving. So I won't be able to keep such a close eye on you today. And then coming back into the center and a little forward as we simply press forward and rock. From side to side with the hand pressing into the knee to initiate that movement. And then just coming back to the center, let's just gently change the cross of the legs. And simply lean forward with a straight back, heart leading, chin slightly lifting, and then just pull back. And you might like to round and drop down. And then the inhalation as we lift the heart and the chin and push forward with a flat back. And then exhale, coil back, grab hold of your knees, drop the chest, chin into the chest. And then inhale, rock forward. And exhale, rock back. And then pushing back up to the center. The camera's really crooked. I really worked on that this morning, but it hasn't helped. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees now. I think I'll just use this opportunity to take the camera back. If you've got a blanket there, you can just take it to the side. You could have blocks here if you like. And we come to sit on the hands or place the hands directly under the shoulders, wrists directly under the shoulders, the knees are directly under the hips, and the feet can be in line with the knees. And you might like to just give them a little rotation or a little shake out here before we continue moving on. And then just placing the feet down, getting comfortable, and using an inhalation to begin to roll the sit bones up. And lift the heart, the chin, and dropping the ribs as we round through, arc through the spine. And then exhale, draw the lower navel in towards the spine as you drop the head and tail and press the hands into the floor. Really opening up through the back body. You might like a little rock back and forth, just to open up different areas of the body slowly. And then inhale to roll up, rolling the sit bones, lifting the chest, the chin, dropping the ribs down, pressing the hands into the floor firmly. And then exhale, drawing the navel in towards the spine, dropping the head and tail. Press the sit bones towards your face as you release the head completely. Hands press into the floor and pull them towards the top of the mat. And then inhale. Rolling sit bones, lifting chest and chin, and pushing the hands into the earth and towards your knees. As you pull back now with the sit bones towards the heels, even though they're not going anywhere because of the pressure in the hands. And then exhale when you're ready, and coiling back in, dropping the head, rounding through the spine. And now let's just, as you're nice and rounded, draw the left shoulder and hip towards each other and open up the right gates of the body, and then change it out. As your rounded head and tail drops, draw the right shoulder and hip towards each other and squeeze there to open up the left side. And then inhale back to the center. Just dropping back down, buttocks to heels, and you can just take a little moment to come up onto your fingertips as you lengthen the spine along. And see if you can just release the wrist a little bit. Here, as you come up onto your fingers, pull into the heart of the hands, and then drop the elbows, bring the hands together in prayer over your head and rotate them. So back of fingers, rolling them until you get to the heel of the hands, and then back of the thumbs, back of the fingers, rolling around till we get to the heel of the hands. Rolling back to the back of the hands, rolling more to the inner hands. Change the direction after a few rotations, so we're keeping our wrists nice and healthy. And then place the hands back down to the floor at the distance of your shoulder. And inhale, coil back up, dropping the head and tail, rounding through the spine as you push forward, bringing your shoulders over your wrists once again. And maybe the hands are a little forward of your shoulders now. We're going to tuck the toes under and begin to round the sit bones up as we drop the buttocks down towards the heel. So we're arcing the back slightly as we drop the buttocks to the heel. And then as we inhale, initiate that inhale, push with the toes and drop the head and tail and come up in like a down cat action, and the cat action with the spine nice and rounded until your shoulders land over your wrists, and then we begin to roll the sit bones up. Lift the chest, the chin, and pull back buttocks to heels. Pressing the hands and the feet into the floor at the same time. And then exhale, was it an inhale? Inhale, rounding up, dropping head and tail, pushing forward with those toes, and then finding the weight to the hands, straightening out the body, and then exhale to round the sit bones up and push into your hands and feet as you push back buttocks to heels with the arc in the back. And then inhale, rounding up once again.
So head and tail drop, the shoulders land over the wrists, and then now we're going to lift the knees off the floor so we're in a rounded plank. And then exhale as you bend the knees quite deeply, push the hands into the floor and draw your buttocks back and up in the bent leg dog action. And then inhale, lift the heels, round through the spine and come back, shoulders over the wrists, knees down to the earth. And exhale once again as we roll the sit bones up and drop the buttocks towards the heels in what I would call the puppy pose. And then inhale, rounding forward. And as you begin to round forward, shoulders coming over the wrists, we're going to lift the knees off, slightly bend your elbows as if you want to lower yourself down, lift the hips away from the floor, and then bend the knees and push back. So the buttocks is going high and back in the bent knee dog pose. And keep pressing the floor away from you and then lift your heels high. Let that take your body forward. Begin to straighten the legs out. And as the shoulders come over the wrists, slight bend in the elbows as if you want to lower yourself down. And then simply take the knees to the floor. Roll the sit bones and chest up as you take the buttocks back down to the heels. I hope it's making sense. I can't see the movement on my screen. Inhale, rounding forward, and as we get the shoulders coming over the wrists, lift the knees off the floor. Hold here for a minute in your plank pose, a little rounded through the spine, and then we're going to bend the elbows just a little bit as we take our body slightly down and then push back. And you can bend the knees quite deeply here, or you can begin to straighten the legs a little bit more. And then just come into downward facing dog for a moment. So just a little wag of the tail from side to side. Release the head completely. Maybe you like to turn your chin from left to right a couple of times. Press the hands into the floor and really pull back all the way into your hips. And as the sit bones roll high up to the sky, begin to pull down into the heels. Let the lower belly scoop back into itself here. And feel that lift come up into your ribs. And then just taking, let's come back in through plank and have a moment here. You might even be able to just once lift the right hand to your heart and then place it back. And then lift the left hand to your heart and then place it back. And then place the knees on the floor. Have them wide perhaps this time. Big toes together. Buttocks back down towards the heels as we just take a moment of rest in our type of wisdom pose. And here you might like to release the wrist in any way that feels good for you. Just to make sure if you have any problems there that you're just addressing them. Deep and full breath into the back body. Full breath out, perhaps through the mouth. Relax all effort. And then as you're ready, again, pressing the hands into the floor, use an inhale to come up onto all four paws. And then tuck the toes under and straighten the legs as you reach the hips. Up towards the sky and back into downward facing dog. Please be sure to have all four corners of your hands pressing into the floor. So you might need to focus a little bit more on your index finger, the knuckle of your index finger and thumb. Step your left foot in just slightly towards the right. And then use the next inhale to lift the right leg up into the air while slightly internally rotating it. So lift it with the inner thigh. And then exhale as you draw the nose towards the knee towards the nose, and they can meet in the middle. And then inhale, extend the leg back up, lengthen your crown towards the space between the hands. Internally rotate that thigh as you lift it. And then exhale, bend the knee, coil in, nose to knee to nose. And then inhale, once again, lift up with the inner thigh, reaching up and reaching into your feet, a little rotation of the ankle. And then here, bend the knee and open up the hip wide. Press into both hands and in particular into that right hand. See if you can spread the toes of your left foot and lift the arch there. And then inhale, extend that right leg in full capacity. And then slowly exhale, bring it back down. Take an inhale as we roll forward into plank. And a half little bend of the elbows as we sort of lower ourselves. You can have the knees to the floor if you need to with that. And then inhale, push back into downward facing dog. And that right foot might be quite close now to the left. And then we're going to lift the left leg up and rotate that inner thigh towards, so it's lifting a little bit more. And then exhale, draw nose to knee, knee to nose. Inhale as that left leg rises, inner thigh reaching forward. And then exhale, knee to nose to knee. Inhale, extending up, trying to keep those hips nice and even. And then rotate your foot, your ankle a few times in each direction. And then bending the knee, lifting the hip. Press firmly into both hands, in particular that left hand now, try and keep the shoulders as even as possible. Try and spread the toes of the right foot and lift the arch. And then take a nice inhale here as you extend that left leg to its full capacity. And this time as we exhale, we're going to coil all the way in, bringing the knee in and the foot to that left hand. Very nice. Just take a moment here in our sort of crouching tiger, sort of running lunge. So press into that back heel, lift the heart slightly, have a sense of buoyancy so that back thigh pulls away from the floor as you sort of drop that left hip toward the floor, if that makes sense. Heels up at hip distance, so please check that. If you feel a little wobbly, that might be something that you need to address. You can have blocks under your hands here. We're reaching from the back heel into the crown. Take one inhale here. The exhale, we're going to bend the back knee as if we're going to drop it to the floor, straighten the front leg. But I want you to hover that back knee to the floor and just strengthen there. And then we inhale forward again. So the back leg straightens and the front knee bends. And then take an inhale, we're going to exhale, bend the back knee, straighten the front leg, hover the back knee, and then inhale forward, look up, and exhale, bend the back knee, straighten the front leg, and inhale forward, straightening out, and exhale here, last time, hover for a moment, and then exhale, straight forward. Drop the back knee to the floor now. You can flatten that foot and inhale, pull that left hip back, straightening that front leg. You can lift the foot clean off the floor. And as you inhale, lengthen, press both hands into the floor, press that back foot in particular into the floor and pull them towards each other as you lift your heart, lift your gaze, and lengthen through the spine. So this is quite an active, like pushing into the floor and pulling into the midline with the hands and feet. Take one more breath there, and as you exhale, just release forward into a nice, easy lunge. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and find the weights being pressed into the hands as you round through your spine, particularly the shoulders. And as you push, you can release the head, gather the energy into your belly and see if you can lift that foot off to the floor and send it all the way back and up with the inner thigh reaching up towards the sky in our slight rotation. And then we inhale, reach, and we exhale, drop the foot to the floor as we come forward into plank. Yum, yum, plank, plank. We all love plank, right? Yeah. Push back into the heels, lengthen tail and crown away from each other. Hands steady into the floor. Let's bend our knees to the floor, engage the lower belly, so knees can come to the floor. Engage the lower belly, and then bending, slow motion action. Bend the elbows and begin to take your torso down. Really slowly so we can build awareness and strength and realize, where it is that we lose our strength as we lower the body all the way down to the floor. Let's just take a moment as we stretch that right arm out in line with the shoulder along the floor. And we're just going to roll over, taking the left leg up and over and rolling onto the right side, just to give that shoulder a little bit of a stretch. Plenty of dog and plank, so let's do a little bit of releasing at the same time. And then roll back onto the belly. Change the hands out so the right hand comes towards the shoulder and the left arm lengthens out along the floor at the height of the shoulder, and we roll onto the left side with that right leg coming up and over, finding the floor in any way that feels nice for you. Breathing into the shoulder, releasing. And then inhale, rolling back onto your belly. Hands come in under the shoulders. Draw the shoulders, round them back and down the body. So you feel the shoulder blades being pulled gently down the spine, gliding over the ribs. Get the front of your thighs comfortable and spreading into the floor beneath you. Begin to press the sacrum towards the floor, and can you press the pubic bone back towards the sacrum. And then if you've got all of that, try and keep that. And then we're going to inhale and lift the left leg and look up. And then exhale, release down. And then we inhale, lift the right leg, look up, reach that foot away as well as up, lengthening as well as lifting, and then exhale back down. 2 more rounds. Inhale, left leg, press the right foot into the floor as you lift that left leg, and then exhale, release down. Inhale, lift the right leg, press the left foot into the floor, look up. Exhale down. Inhale, left leg lifts, press the right foot and hold there for a moment as you really press that foot into the floor and lift the chest, lift the other leg and lengthen at the same time. And then release down on exhalation. Inhale the opposite, right foot lifts, left foot presses in, and as we lengthen away from toes to crown, we're pressing down with that opposite foot and lifting up through the leg and chest. 1 more breath, and then exhale, release down. Hallelujah. Inhale, press the hands into the floor, coming up into half plank or cat. And let's just take a nice, easy, relaxing moment as we drop the buttocks down towards the heels. The knees or thighs can open up to allow the chest, the torso, to rest in between them. And the elbows can drop to the earth. And if you need to rotate through the wrists, then this would be your opportunity. Otherwise, take a couple of deep breaths. Breathe some nice, full, deep inhalations into the back body. And on those exhalations, begin to release any over-efforting any overheating. Just begin to relax back into your body, finding that inner stillness, that inner peace that we cultivated right at the beginning of class. Just allowing that natural ebb and flow of the breath and the constant flux, the constant change, and be at peace here in it. And then hands press into the floor, and we inhale, come back up onto hands and knees, tuck the toes under, and exhale. Lift the buttocks high. You can have the knees a little bent as you really lengthen out through the spine, pressing the hands into the floor. From the hands, reach all the way into the hips. And as you reach into the hips, lift the sit bones high, lift those heels even a little higher to help you access that experience. And then as you press the hands into the floor and forward, begin to lower the heels down towards the earth. Can you lift your toes at the same time? Lowering the heels and lifting the toes, and really finding that length between the hands and hips, the crown and tail, and then the sit bones and the heels. And then just step that left foot into the middle just a little bit more. Take an inhale as we rise up through the right leg, reaching high. And then as we exhale, coiling that leg into the torso, lifting high in the left heel so we can find our way to bring that right foot to the front, to the right hand. So lengthen out here in our runner's lunge as if we're like just completely ready, and have that sense of buoyancy here, like you're good to go. You're not just hanging out somewhere. And then we inhale, lengthen from heel to crown. And then as we exhale, we're going to bend that back knee and straighten the front leg. And then inhale, bend the front leg, straighten the back. Be, in alert here. And then exhale as we pull back, bending the back knee, straightening the front leg. Inhale, really work with beautiful awareness, like a methodical, well thought out movement. Exhale, pulling back. You have your own rhythm now, so that's nice. Inhale. And exhale. And we're going to inhale and come forward, lengthen from the back heel to the front knee, from your tail to your crown. And then very slowly drop that back knee to the floor, untuck the toes, and use an inhalation to begin to pull back that right hip as you peel the right foot off the floor. Keep lengthening through the spine. Flatten your hands to the floor if you can, or your blocks if you're using them. Press the hands and the back foot into the floor firmly and begin to pull them towards each other. Lengthening the chest forward as you pull the hips slightly back. And then inhale, release it, come forward. This time we're going to tuck the toe under, lift the back knee, and then step back. That would be an exhalation, but maybe you've lost it with the breath count. Feet are hip distance, hands are shoulder distance. So get yourself comfortable, find the nice clean lines of energy moving through the body. Let that lower belly suck back into itself and draw in and up. And then inhale, lift the heels high, round yourself forward, come into your full plank, making any adjustments that you need to at the time. You can always drop the knees to the floor here. Otherwise, we're going to really pin the four corners of the palm down. We're going to lift high onto our toes, bring ourselves slightly forward, and begin to bend the elbows in towards the ribs as we lift the belly and hips away from the floor and lower slowly, slowly, slowly our body all the way down to the earth. Hurrah, well done. Right hand reaches out along the floor at the line of the hip. Left hand just under the shoulder and lifting that left leg and taking it over, so we're rolling onto our right side. Take one breath there as you breathe into the shoulder. And then use an exhalation to roll back down onto belly onto the earth. And change the hands out, so the right hand comes in under the shoulder, the left along the floor. And then pull that right leg across and over, so we come on to the left side. Nice deep breath there. And then use an exhalation to roll back onto the belly. And both hands are then going to come and sit in under the shoulders. Spread the thighs into the floor, get nice and comfortable. Reach your feet away from your heads and spread those toes and away from each other, and the tops of the feet gently press into the floor. And as you do all of that, just lift up on an inhale, and preferably without the hands supporting you. You could even lift the hands off a little and just lift the torso, the heart, the chin, looking forward. And then use an exhalation as you're ready to release. And then press the hands into the floor, keeping the head and chest down. Inhale, lift the legs. Press the hands into the floor and pull them back towards the hips as you do that. And then one more breath. Inhale, reach up, and then exhale, release those legs down. Hallelujah. You might like a little rock from side to side, a little rock from the hips, a little rock from the shoulders. Take a nice full breath there. And then putting it all together on an inhalation, begin to lift the legs, the torso, and stretch the arms back down, palms facing each other, thumbs towards the floor as we lift and reach everything up, except for our hips, except for our belly. One more breath there. And then exhale, slowly bring the hands back in. Actually bring the hands just over the head a little bit. The elbows bent, and you can take a cheek to the floor or tuck the chin in for the forehead to rest down. Let the heels drop out to either side. And take a nice, big, nourishing breath in. Sigh out through the mouth, anything that you're hanging on to. You might like to repeat it. Deep inhale through the nose, sigh out through the mouth. Any little rocking, any little rolling, any little releasing, you can just take a small moment to attend to that. And then our hands come in under our shoulders. You can come up through a back bend if you'd like, or you can leave that out if you're not feeling quite up to it today. Inhale and reaching up into your back bend with the support of the hands if you're doing it. And exhale all the way back, either into child's pose or wisdom pose, or you can tuck the toes under and come all the way into downward facing dog. So beginning to make some choices for yourself. And just lengthen all the way out into the dog. So pressing the hands evenly into the floor. The knuckle of the index finger in particular, take a little moment to ground that down. And as you do, pull the outer shoulder blades down towards your fingers, towards the hand, as you pull the inner shoulder blade towards your tail. Lengthen the crown. Lengthen your tail in opposite directions. Finding that integrity through the torso here. Hands pressing into the floor. Inner shoulder blades pulling back, down the back towards the hips. The outer towards the hands. And then the sit bones rolling high. And also pulling back down, or the hips pulling back down to the heels. Take an inhale as you lift the left leg high. And once again, bend the knee and open the hip up wide. Press both hands into the floor and try and even out the effort there. Lift the arch of that right foot if you can. Spread the toes. Take an inhale as you reach that leg straight and begin to reach it away from the hands really strongly. And then exhale, just softly begin to bring that foot back in place beside the right. And the next inhale will lift that right leg high. Reach it away. And then bend the knee and begin to open up. Lifting the thigh and knee so we can open up the hip and then press both hands into the floor, particularly that right hand to try and even out the shoulders a little. Lift the arch of the left foot and spread those toes out in support. And then take an inhale as you extend that leg up as like an arrow pointing to the sun or the full moon perhaps. And then coil that leg in. Drawing the foot to the hand. And then simply turning both feet to the left. So your feet are at the length of the mat. Both hands can be towards the right foot, or you can do the opposite if you need to because of the angle of the video. That's also okay. Keep the right leg straight and bend the left knee and take the hips over towards the left as you keep the hands to the right. And just find that delicious stretch with the active legs. So press the feet into the floor. And as you do, see if you can lift the arches away from the floor. So really come to press into the heels, the outer edge of the feet, all the way to the ball of the big toe, and lift those arches as you pull the hips towards the left. And then inhale, straighten that left leg, let the hands come to the center. Just make a little adjustment, anything that needs adjusting for you. And then walk the hands to the left foot. Take an inhale to really begin to push down, particularly with the feet, and lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend that right knee and keep the hands pressing into the floor at the left as you bend that right knee. And find the support in the feet, really firmly rooting down while the arches gently lift up. Not gently, strongly. What am I talking about? We want the arches to strongly lift up and support you here. One more breath there as you really press into the earth and also lift away from it to a degree. And then inhale. Come back to the center. Make yourself comfortable in the center. Have the hips even, the feet pressing evenly. Find that to the heel, rolling out to the outer edge and pinning back down into the ball of the big toe. That way you'll find this lifting in the arch. When you find that lifting in the arch, you'll feel a strengthening in the ankle and an opening up the inner groin and an opening up into that hip there. So take a half lift if you haven't already. Press those hands firmly into the floor. Press the feet firmly into the floor and pull them towards each other. Feet and hands being pulled towards each other. Even if you're using blocks here, that's okay. And then bend the elbows and fold down. You can soften the knees, particularly if you've got something going on in your lower back. And if you are getting like a little deeper in your fold, you can walk the hands a little bit more so they're in line with the feet. But none of this is important. It's just where your body might be at. So just allowing that. And keep that activity, keep that strong activity through the feet. And even if the hands are now sort of under the shoulders in line with the feet, we still want to press the hands into the floor and pull them back towards the back. And then half lift again, coming back up. Just turning slightly, turning around to your right foot. And then stepping that left foot into the right. So now they're hip distance. Take a half lift. You could come up the legs with the hands. And then exhale as you fold. Soften the knees as much as you need to be comfortable through the lower back. Take a couple of deep breaths here in this inversion. But we want to keep that sense of alignment with the earth, so pressing those feet into the floor, lifting the arches. And as you press the feet into the floor, see if you can lift the sit bones, roll them up towards the sky, towards the full moon. And then that way it can help you release the head towards, crown towards the earth. If you like, we're going to slide our fingers under our hands. So you might need to bend your knees quite a lot in order to do that. But if we can, we're going to slip the hands in under the feet so the toes come all the way to the crease of the wrist. And we're going to half lift to the best of our ability here. Do a little half lift, straightening the legs, straightening the back, straightening the arms. And then use the exhalation to bend the knees, to bend the elbows, and release the head. And then inhale once again, press those toes into the heel of the hand as you straighten the legs, arms, and spine. And then exhale, softening all the joints, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows. Release the head. One more. Inhale, lift up. Lengthen, everything awake, everything pressing, everything lengthening, and then exhale, everything softening, everything releasing, everything just being. You can release the hands from the feet, and then slowly, you might need some blocks under your hands to be comfortable here, but slowly we're going to begin to scoop up, belly to heart as we lower the hips down. And then just slowly, slowly begin to find the buttocks coming down towards the heels. And if you need, you can lift the heels off the floor. Hands can come into prayer. And take the elbows or the upper arms, in between your legs. And begin to press the arms into the legs and then squeeze back into the arms. And then slowly we can maybe find our way by squeezing ourselves into the midline, the buttocks down to the floor. Otherwise, support yourself with the arms. Yay! And then soles of the feet together for a moment as we lengthen up. You can grab hold of the ankles with your hands or pistol grip your toes here. Or, of course, hands completely around. So just whatever you feel this morning. I'm liking my toes. And as we grab hold of the ankle, feet, or toes, we're going to gently pull that upward as the feet pull back down. So we're finding this pulling, pull, push action that helps us lengthen up through the spine. And then just find the sense of ease and relaxation through the thighs. Find your breath. And just notice what the breath is doing as you know, this is a fairly formal seat, shall we say. So notice this formal seat, how it's affecting the breath. And if you can soften around any hard edges without losing any of the form, without losing any of the lift. Take one more deep breath there. And as you exhale, you can release your feet, ankles, toes, whatever you're using. And we'll just gather our knees up. Bring our feet so they're about hip distance away and have a little bit of space between the buttocks and the feet. And then we're going to lift the hands so the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to start this coiling action. So imagine you're scooping your tail, shooting it underneath you. And as you do that, sort of rounds the back and find the energy, the control, the strength deep in your belly. Press the feet slightly into the floor as you begin the slow descent down. And we're going to just try and in super slow motion come down in a relaxed manner. And just notice when it is that you lose it, when it is that you just sort of fall down, and that's okay as well. Let the feet just slightly slide with you as you come all the way down. And then just take your hands into the cactus style. Straighten the legs out. Let's just take a moment of deep rest. You might like to draw those shoulder blades down and in towards each other a little bit. Let the arms be as open as they need to be in order to be comfortable here. And just shake out your legs like your feet are wind wipers on a car. And let that movement, of course, right all the way up into the hips. And then you can let that go, naturally fade out as you're ready. Take a deep breath into the belly. Let that go and take a deep breath into the ribs, spreading them out to the sides, spreading them out back into the floor. And also a deep breath into the chest, fanning out through the collarbone, shoulders, upper ribs. And exhale, releasing. Just allowing the head to fall a couple of times from left to right. And then let's bring our arms alongside the body with the palms facing down into the earth and step the feet in so they're hip distance, sitting behind the sit bones. Just get yourself nice and comfortable and begin to press the feet into the floor. And then use that pressure of the feet into the floor to lift the hips and peel the spine slowly off the ground. Keep pressing the feet into the floor, and as the hips begin to rise, you might like to walk the shoulder blades in a little and press the arms, particularly the upper arms and then the hands, into the floor. Take a breath or two here. Pressing the feet into the floor, knees are in line with the hips or the feet, so don't let them fall out. Press the upper arms and then the hands into the floor, and then shrug the shoulders ever so slightly and allow the vertebra by vertebra roll back down to the floor. The sacrum is the last thing to hit, and then as you arrive, just recalibrate, get yourself comfortable, take a full round of breath. And then we do it again. We press the feet into the floor really firmly. You'll feel the hips become light, and then lift the hips and peel the spine. And as you feel the ribs begin to peel off, begin to walk those shoulder blades in a little, press the upper arms into the floor, and then ground the hands back down as you continue to press through the feet, through the shoulders, and now also the back of the head as you continue to lift the hips up and open the heart. If you like, you can interlace your fingers and then walk those shoulder blades even more closer together. Keep pressing those feet into the floor, and now the whole length of the arm presses in. Back of the head gently pressing in, keeping long through the neck, or sort of neutral through the neck. Tail is long, and we just keep pressing into the earth. And then just come out of the peak of your pose enough that you can release the interlace, and then the ever so slight shrug of the shoulder to allow the vertebrae to really slowly snake back down to the earth. Don't be in a rush. Sacrum is the last thing to hit. And then just take a breath there, basking in the glory. And then hugging the knees in, one at a time, squeezing them into the torso and rolling the head from side to side. Maybe just once, or maybe as many as 3 times. If you like, you can let the legs fall open enough to rotate the ankles a few times in each direction. And then you might like to draw the thighs back together, and one hand on each knee as you make little circles of the knees around the hips. And change direction. And if there's any other thing that you just need to finish up with, then you can take a little moment to do that. Otherwise, we're just going to extend one leg down to one corner of the mat, the other leg down to the other corner of the mat. Take the flesh of your buttocks down towards the heels, walk those shoulder blades in a little towards you, and then that little mild shrug of the shoulder as the arms come away from the body, palms facing up. The back of the head lengthening gently away, so there's ever slight tuck of the chin. And if that doesn't naturally occur, you can grab a gently folded blanket and place that under the head, so you have that natural, very gentle tilt of the chin. Any other little adjustments that you need to do to make yourself supremely comfortable, including perhaps placing socks on your feet or a blanket over your body.
But as you're ready, begin to come back to the experience of the breath. The breath as it enters into and throughout the body. The exhalation as it leaves the body, and in its wake of leaving, it's releasing all the tension, all the efforts of your muscles, of your body, even of your mind. So find that easy flow, the rhythm, the breath as it enters freely into the body, reaching out to all areas, all peripheries. And then the exhalation, releasing out of the body and taking with it our tension, our gripping, our holding on to, our effort, our thinking. And allow yourself, breath by breath, to drop back into peace, drop back into the still point. With recognition that that still point is anything but still. The still point is a dynamic sense of balance. So using that conscious breathing to find that dynamic balance within. And as you begin to find that still point, the equilibrium of the energies in the body, perhaps you can fill that with a particular quality that you would like to receive this morning. Perhaps it is quality of peace, quality of love, maybe healing. Whatever you intuit that you need, rather than breathing it in or making it come into the body somehow, instead let it simply reveal itself
from within. That the emanation of peace, for example, comes from within your body, from within you. Simply allow it to arise. And then you can begin once again to draw awakened awareness into and throughout the body, perhaps using the inhalation as the initiator for that. Trying to draw the prana in so we can re-enliven the body. Without disturbing the stillness, the peace, the love, sense of ease, or whatever it is that you've cultivated. You can begin to gently add movement as you're ready. Perhaps you'd like to add touch to the body, to the throat. Gently massaging around the eyes, cheeks, forehead. And as you're ready, just beginning to turn over onto your side. And take a moment here as we rest. And then we can use the opposite hand to push up. Listening within to the inner silence, the inner peace that we can really begin to attune to, while at the same time listening to the sounds that surround us, the sounds of the waking world continuing on. And continue to hold that sense of inner peace, that inner stillness, that still point of dynamic balance, while you begin to take in the movement and sounds and actions of the world around you, the world in which you begin to step back into. Bringing your hands together into prayer at the heart center, let's bring the thumbs to the third eye. And just gently place the thumbs touching there as a way of encouraging illumination, this full moon, perhaps some insight into your life and what you're growing into. And then taking that into the heart, bringing the back of the thumbs to the heart space and bowing the head towards the heart.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day.